नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भगवते उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी
भक्ते भवति नैष्टकी।
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, verse 25. तामसादपि भूताते
तामसादपि भूतादे
विकुर्वाणाद् अभून्नभ
विकुर्वाणादभुन्नभा
तस्य मात्रा गुणाशब्दो
तस्य मात्रा गुणा शब्दो
लिङ्गं यद्दृश्ययो
लिङ्गं यद्द्रष्टदृष्टयो
तामसाद् अपि भूताते
तामसादपि भूतादे
विकुर्वाणाद् अभून्नभ
विकुर्वाणादभुन्नभा
तस्य मात्रा गुणशब्दो
तस्य मात्रा गुणा शब्दो
लिङ्गं यद्दृश्यसो यो
लिङ्गं यद्द्रष्टदृष्टयो
तामसादविभूतादे
तामसादपि भूतादे
विकुर्वाणादभून्नभ
विकुर्वाणादभुन्नभा
तस्य मात्रा गुणशब्दो
तस्य मात्रा गुणा शब्दो
लिङ्गं यद्दृश्ययो
लिङ्गं यद्द्रष्टदृष्टयो
Yeah, please.
तामसादपि भूतादे
तामसादपि भूतादे
विकुर्वाणादभुन्नभा
विकुर्वाणादभुन्नभ
तस्य मात्रा गुणा शब्दो
तस्य मात्रा गुणशब्दो
लिङ्गं यद्द्रष्टदृष्टयो
लिङ्गं दृश्य
तामसादपि भूतादे
तामसादपि भूतादे
तामसादपि भूतादे
विकुर्वाणादभुन्नभा
विकुर्वाणादभिन्नभा
विकुर्वाणादभुन्नभ
तस्य मात्रा गुणा शब्दो
तस्य मात्रा गुणा
शब्दो
लिङ्गं यद्दृश्यो
लिङ्गं
लिङ्गं यद्दृश्यो
Translation purport by Srivan Gurushabi Karnarunda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय
Sunanings, Tamasat, from the darkness of false ego.
तामसात्
darkness of false ego.
Api, secondly,
अपि
अपि
Api
certainly
certainly.
Bhuta Adhe of the material elements.
भूतादे of the
Adi
material
of the
elements
material elements.
Vikurvanat, because of transformation.
विकुर्वाणात् because of
Kurvana because of
transformation
transformation.
Abhut, generated.
अभूत generated
Generated.
Nabha, the sky.
नभा
Nabha,
the
the sky.
Satya, its.
तस्य
Tasya it's.
Matra, subtle form.
मात्र
Matra, subtle form.
Guna, quality.
गुणा
Guna, quality.
Shabda, sound.
शब्द
Shabda, sound.
Lingam, characteristic.
लिङ्गं
लिङ्गं
Characteristics.
Yat, as it.
यत्
As it's.
Drashtra, the seer.
दृष्टे
The seer.
Drishyayohu, of what is seen.
दृश्ययो
Of what is seen.
Translation, please repeat after me. From the darkness of false ego, the first of the five elements,
from the darkness of false
ego, the
first of the
first of
five
the five
elements,
elements,
namely the sky, is generated.
namely the
namely
sky
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 is
is
is elevated.
elevated.
Its subtle form is the quality of sound.
its
Its
subtle
subtle
form
subtle
is the
form
form
quality
is
of
the
sound,
quality of sound,
Exactly as the seer is in relationship with the scene.
exactly as
exactly
the
as
seer
exactly
is
as the seer is in relationship with the scene.
purport. The five elements, namely sky, air, fire, water, and earth, are all but different qualities of the darkness or false ego. This means that the false ego in the sum total form of Mahat Tattva is generated from the marginal potency of the Lord. And due to this false ego of lording it over the material creation, ingredients are generated for the false enjoyment of the living being. The living being is practically the dominating factor over the material elements as the enjoyer, though the background is the Supreme Lord. Factually, save and accept the Lord. No one can be called the enjoyer, but the living entity falsely desires to become the enjoyer. This is screen is not shared. Mm. This is the origin of false ego. When the bewildered living being desires this, the shadow elements are generated by the will of the Lord, and the living entities are allowed to run after them as after a phantasmagoria. It is said that first the matra sound is created and then the sky, and in this verse it is confirmed that actually it is so. But sound is the subtle form of the sky, and the distinction is like that between the seed and the seed. The sound is the representation of the actual object, as the sound produced. Speaking of the object gives an idea of the description of the object. Therefore, sound is the subtle characteristic of the object. Similarly, sound representation of the Lord, in terms of his characteristics, is the complete form of the Lord, as was seen by Vasudeva and Maharaja Dashrath, the fathers of Lord Krishna and Lord Rama. The sound representation of the Lord is non different from the Lord himself, because the Lord and his representation in sound are absolute knowledge. Lord Chaitanya has instructed us that in the holy name of the Lord, as sound representation of the Lord, all the potencies of the Lord are invested. Thus, one can immediately enjoy the association of the Lord by the pure vibration of the sound, representation of his holy name, and the concept of the Lord is immediately manifested before the pure devotee. A pure devotee, therefore, is not aloof from the Lord even for a moment. The holy name of the Lord, as recommended in the Shastras, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, may therefore be constantly chanted by the devotee, aspiring to be constantly in touch with the Supreme Lord. One who is thus able to associate with the Lord is sure to be delivered from the darkness of the created world, which is a product of false ego. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya.
हरि ओम तत्सदोम ज्ञानतिग्रन्थस्य ज्ञानगणशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयप्रकाश स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमो वाचार्य पदाय निताय कृपप्रदायिने गौरकथाधामदाय नगरग्रामतारिणे नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादे पाश्चात्यादि तथा ne jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Nama Krishna Yadvaya Nama Hare Gopal Govindaram Sri Madhusudanam Mukam Karo Divachalam Pangan Langai Tegirim Yaskirpa Tamam Vande Sri Gurun Dana Sarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Meeswaram Hari Om Tat Sat. So, very beautifully, the creation step by step is given in this particular chapter. First we saw that the 9 elements or the material nature, the living entity, the Mahatattva, the false ego, the 5 objects of sense perception, that is your sound, touch, form, taste, and aroma, the 11 elements or the 5 working senses, voice, hands, legs, anus, and genitals, plus the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, the ears, touch, eyes, tongue, and nostrils, along with the coordinative sense, the mind. The 5 elements are the 5 physical elements in the earth, water, fire, air, and sky, and the 3 elements are the 3 modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, all living entities from mighty Lord Brahma down to an insignificant ant or weed, manifest material bodies composed of these 28 elements. The one element within all 28 is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, who is all pervading within the material and the spiritual nature. So, we can easily understand that the material universe is composed of innumerable causes and effects. And Krishna is Sarva Karana Karana, is the cause of all causes. All secondary causes and their effects are ultimately non-different from the personality of Godhead. So this is real knowledge, which is essential for perfecting one's life. And these 5 elements here, Sarga and Visarga, we have so many things, Sarga, that means the first creation by Vishnu, the bringing forth of the 5 gross material elements, the 5 objects of sense perception, the 10 senses, the mind, the intelligence, the false ego, and the total material energy or universal form. This is your Sarga. And Visarga, that is secondary creation, or that's the work of Brahma. He produces bodies within the universe, Brahmanda. So like that. And so this is how the false ego, from which the mode of ignorance came, and the subtle physical perception, like from which the gross element from false ego in the mode of passion came, the senses, and from false ego in the mode of goodness arose the 11 demigods. So this is how the creation are described in the Shastras, and we are here hearing that the sound is the subtle form of the sky. Just like we have the body, gross body, and the subtle body is mind, intelligence, ego. So mind is the subtle form of our, thinking, free, willing, and, acting. So feeling. So like that. Here sound is the subtle form of the sky. And how beautifully it is explained, both in the verses and the purport, seer and the seen. The object which is seen and the person who is seer. What is the relationship between the seen and the seer? Okay. So like that, the sound and the sky has the relationship, or the sky and the sound has the relationship. So very nicely elaborated. And the sound vibrations, the ultimate, this thing is Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in this way, you can be constantly in touch with Krishna. You can be in association with Lord Krishna. And in this way, from the false ego or tamogun, everything, you will be totally come out, because the whole tamogun is the product of false ego. Hmm? And you have to come out of that. So you have to use the subtle form of the sky, which is sound. And in that, the sound vibration of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord will take you out from all kind of these things. So we'll go to the next three words, 26 to 29, four words. Navashot Vikruvanat.
Namaso Vikruvana
Abhusparsha Gunonila.
Abhut Parsha Gunonila
Paramvayacha Dvamscha.
Paranvayach Davancha
Prana Ojasaho Balam.
प्राण ओजसहो बलम्
Vayorapi Vikruvanat.
वायोरपि विक्रुवाणा
Kala Karma Subhavata.
कालकर्म स्वभावता
Udapadya Tatejo Vai.
उपद्यस्तेषु वै
Rupavat Sparsha Shabdavat.
रूपवात् स्पर्शशब्दवात्
Tejasastu Vikurvanat.
तेजसस्तु
Yasastu
विकुर्वाणा
Vikarvana.
Asidamborasatmakam.
आसीदम्भोरसात्मकम्
Upavat Sparshavat Chambho.
रूपवत् स्पर्शवचम्भो
Surpavachambo.
Goshavacha Paranvayat.
घोषवच्च
Vacha
परान्
Paranivat.
Visheshastu Vikurvanat.
विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणा
Vikurvana.
Ambaso Gandhavanabhut.
अम्बसो
Ameshwaragandhavani.
Paranvayadrasa Sparsha.
Paranvayadrasya Sparsha.
परान्वयस्पर्शः
Shabdarupa Gunanvita.
Shabdarupa
शब्दरूपगुणान्
Gunanvita.
Nabaso Atha Vikruvanat.
Namaste
नभसोऽथ
Vikruvana.
Abhut Sparsha Gunonila.
Abhutsparsha Gunanila.
Paranvayat Shabdavamscha.
परान्वयाच्च धवंश्च
Prana Ojasaho Balam.
प्राण ओजसहो बलम्
Vayorapi Vikruvanat.
वायोरपि
Vairapi
विकुर्वाणा
Vikruvana.
Kala Karma Subhavata.
Kala Karma
कालकर्म
Swabhavata.
Tapadyatha Tejo Vai.
Upapadyate Tejo Vai.
Rupavat Sparsha Sabdhavat.
Rupavat Sparsha
रूपवत्स्पर्शशब्दवात्
Shabdavat.
Tejasastu Vikurvanat.
तेजसस्तु
Tejasastu
विकुर्वाणा
Vikurvana.
Asit Amborasatmakam.
Asidambo
आसीदम्बरसात्मकम्
Rasatmakam.
Rupavat Sparshavachambho.
रूपवत्स्पर्शवाच्यम्भो
Nambo.
Goshavacha Paranvayat.
Goshavakya
घोषवत्परान्वय
Paranivat.
Visheshastu Vikurvanat.
विशेषस्तु
विकुर्वाणात्
अम्बसो गन्धवान् अभूत्
अम्बसो गन्धवानभूत्
परान्वयाद्रसस्पर्श
परान्वयाद्रसस्पर्श
शब्दरूप गुणान्विता
शब्दरूप गुणान्वितः
नभसोऽथ विकुर्वाणात्
नभसोऽथ विकुर्वाणात्
अपुस्पर्श गुणोनिला
अभूत्पर्श गुणोनल
परान्वयाच्छब्दवांश्च
परान्वयाचाधवंश्च
प्राण ओजसहो बलम्
प्राणोजसो
प्राणोच्चसहो
बलम्
बलम्
वायोरपि विकुर्वाणात्
वायुरपि
वायुरपि
विकुर्वाणात्
विकुर्वाणात्
कालकर्म स्वभावता
कालकर्म
कालकर्म
स्वभावतः
स्वभावतः
उदपद्यत तेजो वै
उदपद्यते तेजो वै
वै
रूपवत् स्पर्शशब्दवत्
रूपस्पर्शब्दवात्
रूपस्पर्शशब्दः
तेजसस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
तेजसस्तु
तेजसस्तु
विकुर्वाणात्
विकुर्वाणात्
आसीदम्बोरसात्मकम्
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 रूपवत् स्पर्शवच्चम्बो
रूपवत्स्पर्शवच्छो
रूपवत्स्पर्शवत्तम्
घोषवच्च परान्वयात्
घोषवच्च
घोषवच्च परान्वयात्
परान्वयात्
विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
अम्बसो गन्धवान् अभूत्
अम्बसो
आम्रसो
गन्धवानभूत्
परान्वयाद्रसस्पर्श
परान्वयाद्रसस्पर्श
राण्यवादस्पर्श
शब्दरूप गुणान्वित
शब्दरूप
शब्दरूपगुणान्वितः
गुणान्वित
Yeah, please recite.
नभसोऽथ विकुर्वाणात्
नभसोत
नभसुत
विकुर्वाणात्
विकुर्वाणात्
अभूत्स्पर्शगुणोऽनिल
अभूस्पर्श
अभूत्पर्श
गुणोनिल
गुणानिल
परान्वयात् शब्दवंश्च
परान्वयात् शब्दवांश्च
प्राण ओजसहो बलम्
प्राणोजसहो बलम्
वायुरपि विकुर्वाणात्
वायुरपि विकुर्वाणात्
कालकर्म स्वभावतः
कालकर्म स्वभावतः
उदपद्यत तेजो वै
उदपद्यते तजे तेजो वै
रूपवत् स्पर्शशब्दवात्
रूपवत् स्पर्शशब्दवात्
तेजसस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
तेजसस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
असिदम्भोरसात्मकम्
निगम्बो रसात्मक
So please scroll down.
Just a minute.
रूपवत् स्पर्शवाचम्भो घोषवाचा परान्वयात्
भूतभक्ता पराण्यवात्
विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
वसो गन्धवानभूत्
अम्बसो गन्धवानभूत्
परान्वयाद्रसास्पर्श
पराण्यवात् रसस्पर्श
शब्दरूपगुणान्विता
शब्दरूप गुणान्वितः
नभसोत विकुर्वाणात्
नभसोत विकुर्वाणात्
विकुर्वाणाद्
अभूत्स्पर्श गुणमनिल
अभूत्स्पर्श
अभूत्स्पर्शगुणानिल
परान्वयाच्चवं च
परान्व्याचाक्षदमश्च
ओजसहो बलम्
ज्ञानोजसो
बलम्
वायोरपि विकुर्वाणात्
वायोरपि विकुर्वाणात्
विकुर्वाणात्
कालकर्म स्वभावतः
कालकर्म स्वभावतः
उदपद्यत तेजो वै
उदपद्यत तेजो वै
भवत्स्पर्शशब्दवत्
रूपवान् स्पर्शशब्दः
तेजसस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
तेजसस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
आसीदम्बोरसात्मकम्
आसीत् अम्भोरसात्मकम्
भवत्स्पर्शवक्षम्भो
रूपवत्
रूपवत्स्पर्शभक्षम्भो
घोषवक्ष परान्वयात्
घोषवक्ष परान्वयात्
विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
गन्धवानभूत्
अम्बसो
अम्भसो गन्धवान् अभूत्
परान्वयात् यथास्पर्श
परान्वयात् स्पर्श
रूपगुणान्वित
शब्दरूपागुणान्वित नभसोऽथ विकुर्वाणात्
नभसोत विकुर्वाणात्
अभूत्स्पर्शा गुणा अनिल
अभूत्
स्पर्शगुणः
परान्वयात् शब्दवंश्च
परान्वयाच्चब्दवांश्च
वांश्च
प्राण ओजासहो बलम्
प्राण ओजसहो बलम्
बलम्
वायुरपि विकुर्वाणात्
वायुरपि विकुर्वाणात्
कालकर्म स्वभावतः
कालकर्म
कालकर्म
उदापद्यात तेजो वै
तेजो वै
जो वै
रूपवत् स्पर्शशब्दवत्
रूपवत्
शब्दवत्
शब्दवात्
ते तेजसस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
तेजसस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
आसीत् अम्भोरसात्मकम्
आसीत् अम्बुरसात्मकम्
रूपवत् स्पर्शवत् चाम्भो
रूपवत् स्पर्शवच्चाम्बो
घोषवश्च परान्वयात्
घोषवच्चन्वयात्
विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
विशेषस्तु विकुर्वाणात्
अम्भसो गन्धवान् अभूत्
अम्बसोगन्धवानभूत्
परान्वयात् रसस्पर्शा
परान्वयाद्रसस्पर्श
सप्तरूपा गुणान्विता
शब्दरूपगुणान्विता Translation purport. Synonyms. Nabasha of the sky.
Nabasha of the sky.
Thus.
Thus,
Vikurvanat being transformed.
Vikurvanat being transformed.
Abhut generated.
Abhut generated.
Sparsha touch.
Sparsha touch.
Guna quality.
Guna quality.
Anila air.
Anila air.
Para previous.
Para previous.
Anvayat by succession.
Anvayat succession.
Shabdavan full of sound.
Shabdavan, full of sound.
Cha also.
Cha
Cha
also.
also.
Prana life.
Prana, life.
Right?
Oja sense perception.
Oja, sense
Your
perception.
sense perception.
Saha fat.
Saha, fat.
Fat.
Balam strength.
Balam,
Balam,
strength.
strength.
Vayo who of that.
Vayo, of the
Fire. Of the air.
Api also.
api,
Api
also.
also.
Vikurvana by transformation.
Vikurvana,
Vikurvani.
by
By
transformation.
transformation.
Kala time.
Kala, time.
Kala time.
Karma reaction of the past.
Karma,
Karma.
reaction of the
Reaction of the
past.
past.
Swabhavatha on the basis of nature.
Swabhavata, on the
Swabhavata.
basis of
Basis of nature.
Udapadyatha generated.
Udapadyata,
Udapadyate
generated.
generated.
Teja fire.
Teja, fire.
Teja fire.
Why duly.
Why, duly.
Why duly.
Rupavat with form.
Rupavat,
Rupavat.
with
With
form.
form.
Varsha touch.
Varsha,
Touch.
Shabdavat with sound also.
Shabdavat, with sound
With
also.
sound also.
Tejas of the fire.
Tejas of the fire.
Of the fire.
Tu but.
Two, but.
Vikurvanat on being transformed.
Vikurvana,
Vikurvani.
on being
Being
transformed.
transformed.
Asit it so happened.
Asit,
It
it so
happened.
happened.
Amba water.
Amba,
Amba
water.
water.
Rasa atmakam composed of juice.
Rasa atmakam,
Rasaatmakam.
composed of
Composed of
juice.
juice.
Rupavat with form.
Rupavat, with
Rupavat.
form.
With form.
Parshavat with touch.
Sparshavat, with
Rasaat
touch.
with touch.
Cha and
Cha,
And
Ambha water.
Amba,
Amba
water.
water.
Goshavat with sound.
Goshavat, with sound.
Sound.
Cha and
Cha, and
And
para previous.
para,
para previous.
previous.
Anvayat by succession.
Anvayat, by
Anvayat by
succession.
succession.
Vishesha variegatedness.
Vishesha,
Vishesha
variegatedness.
variegatedness.
Tu but.
Two, but.
But
Vikurvanat by transformation.
Vikurvanat, by
Vikurvana by
transformation.
transformation.
Ambasa of water.
Ambasa, of
Ambassador
water.
of water.
Gandhavan odorous.
Gandavan, odorous.
Gandavan odorous.
Abhut became.
Abhut,
Bruce
became.
became
Para previous.
Para,
para
previous.
previous.
Anvayat by succession.
Anvayat, by
Anvayat
succession.
by succession.
Rasa juice.
Rasa, juice.
Rasa juice.
Varsha touch.
Varsha,
Varsha
touch.
touch.
Shabda sound.
Shabda, sound.
Shabda sound.
Rupa guna anvita qualitative.
Rupa, guna,
Rupa
anvita,
guna
qualitative.
anvita qualitative.
Translation, please repeat after me. Because the sky is transformed.
Because the sky is
The
transformed.
sky is transformed.
The air is generated with the quality of touch.
The
The air
air
is
is
generated with the quality
generated
of
with the
touch.
quality of touch.
And by previous succession,
And by
And
previous
by previous
succession,
succession,
the air is also full of sound.
the air is also full of
also
sound.
full of sound.
And the basic principles of duration of life.
And the basic
And the basic
principles of
principles
duration of
of
life.
duration of life.
Sense perception,
Sense
Sense
perception,
perception,
mental power,
mental power,
mental
and
power,
bodily strength.
bodily,
and bodily
and bodily
strength.
strength.
When the air is transformed in course of time
When the air is
The
transformed in
air is
course of
transformed
time
in course of time.
and nature's course,
and nature's course,
Nature's course
fire is generated,
fire is generated,
generated,
taking shape of the sense of touch and sound.
taking shape with the sense of touch and sound.
of touch and sound.
Since fire is also transformed,
Since
fire
fire
is
is also transformed,
there is a manifestation of water full of juice and taste.
there is a
there
there
manifestation
is
of
a
water full of
manifestation of
juice
water
and
full of
taste.
juice and taste.
As previously,
As
as
previously,
it also has form and touch and is also full of sound.
it has
it
It
also
also
form,
has
touch, and is
form and
also
touch
full
and
of
is
sound.
full of sound.
And water being transformed from all variegatedness on earth
And
Water
water
being
being
water
transformed
transformed
from all
from all
variegatedness
variegated
on earth
earth
appears odorous and
appears
appears
odorous
appears
and
odorous
and
and
as previously becomes qualitatively full of juice, touch,
as
sound, and
previously
form respectively.
as
and
previous
previously
previously
becomes
becomes qualitatively
qualitatively
full of
Qualitatively
juice, touch,
full of juice,
juice,
sound, and
touch,
touch,
sound,
form
and form.
respectively.
and respectively.
Purport.
The whole process
per-
of creation is an act of gradual evolution and development from one element to another, reaching up to the variegatedness of the earth as so many trees, plants, mountains, rivers, reptiles, birds, animals, and varieties of human beings. The quality of sense perception is also evolutionary, namely generated from sound, then touch, and from touch to form. Taste and odor are also generated along with the gradual development of sky, air, fire, water, and earth. They are all mutually the cause and effect of one another. But the original cause is the Lord Himself in plenary portion, as Mahavishnu lying in the causal water of the Mahatattva. As such, Lord Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita as the cause of all causes, and this is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 10.8 as follows. अहम सर्वस्य प्रभहो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुद्धा भावा समान्विता. The qualities of sense perception are fully represented in the earth and they are manifested in other elements to a lesser extent. In the sky, there is sound only, whereas in the air, there are sound and touch. In the fire, there are sound, touch, and shape. And in the water, there is a taste also, along with the other perceptions, namely sound, touch, and shape. In the earth, however, there are all the above mentioned qualities with an extra development of odor also. Therefore, on the earth, there is a full display of variegatedness of life, which is originally started with the basic principle of air. Diseases of the body take place due to dearrangement of air within the earthly body of the living beings. Mental diseases result from special dearrangement of the air within the body, and as such, yogic exercise is especially beneficial to keep the air in order so that the diseases of the body become almost nil by such exercises. When they are properly done, the duration of life also increases, and one can have control over death also by such practices. A perfect yogi can have command over death and quit the body at the right moment when he is competent to transfer himself to a suitable planet. The Bhakti Yogi, however, surpasses all the yogis because by dint of his devotional service, he is promoted to the to the region beyond the material sky and is placed in one of the planets in the spiritual sky by the supreme will of the Lord, the controller of everything.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Very beautiful. You know how the creation, each step is the cause for the effect, the next step, and that becomes a cause for the effect, the next step, and so on. This is really amazing how things formed. The extremely powerful air interacting with the sky, that will generate the form of sense perception. Then the perception of form transform into electricity, the light to see the world, it's further described. From false ego in the mode of ignorance, the sound was generated, we have seen. And when the sound was generated along with the sense of hearing to receive it, and the sky as its medium. Sky's subtle form is sound, we saw. That is where we started. And next, the sensation of touch. That air and the sense of touch are generated. And thus from the subtle to the gross, okay, first gross to the subtle, first sky, then sound, and then from the subtle to the gross. So all the elements that the perceptions are generated and the senses, because they are busily engaged in activity, they are created from false ego in the mode of passion. So the, what is that called? Where it is written as the nature. Nature means these three modes of material nature with which it is coming in contact, so that you will be able to see the false ego. In goodness comes with 11 demigods, the deities of the directions, the wind and the sun, Varuna, Ashwini deities, Agni, Indra, Upendra, Mitra, Brahma, Chandra, all these things. So it's very beautiful description. When the Supreme Lord, actually nothing works on its own, it requires the glance of the Supreme Lord. When the Supreme Lord is glancing over the sky, partly mixed with eternal time and external energy, then only the touch sensation is developed. And from that, air in the sky was produced. So that is more deep dive science of this. Because initially when things were created, like your earth, water, fire, ether, air, they were in the elementary form. They were not able to work together or mix together. They remained aloof. For example, I'm talking about elementary level of water. Water, now we know that water is H2O. At least people were able to identify there is air in the water. But actually, there is earth, water, fire, ether, air in the water. Okay, we are seeing the combo of all five elements in each element also. Water is more predominated in our water, what we are seeing. But there is also air, there is ether, there is everything in the water. Similarly, earth, what we are experiencing is not elemental level earth. It is the earth which is mix of this earth, water, fire, ether, and air. In the same way, everything we are seeing, air has water, moisture in it, air has earth, air has ether, air has sound, everything. So like that, we are, our experience is not that elementary level of earth, water, fire, ether, air. Our experience is the compound nature of the earth, water, ether, fire, air. So this combination was only possible by the glance of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, it is very impossible for them to mix with and work together. This we will be seeing in the further sloka. So this is a very beautiful, purport wherein Prabhupada is very clearly given how this Mahatattva is burst into 24 elements, and then how they have started working together, all these things. Very beautiful purport. Any questions or comments or realization, please do share with us. 5, 4.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question regarding these. So, like, these things are happening inside a universe or outside the universe?
Sorry.
Previous person. It's a previous rendered translation.
So let us come back to previous words. Then you will understand. Just a moment. Let me share that. Yeah. Shantagopi. So this is 5th chapter where we are. Yes. So if you can see, na padikkiran the slokata. Mahatattva, I'm reading from Mahatattva because Mahatattva is at the Mahavishnu level, not inside the universe, okay? Number 23. Material activities are caused by the Mahatattvas being agitated. At first, there is transformation of the modes of goodness and passion, and later, due to the mode of ignorance, matter, its knowledge, and the different activities of material knowledge come into play. The self-centered materialistic ego, thus being transformed into three features, becomes known as the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance in three divisions, namely the powers that evolve matter, knowledge of material creations, and the intelligence that guides such materialistic activities. And from the darkness of false ego, the first of the five elements, namely the sky, is generated. Its subtle form is the quality of sound, exactly as the seer is in relationship with the seen. Because the sky is transformed, the air is generated with the quality of touch, and by previous succession, the air is also full of sound, and the basic principles of duration of life, sense perception, mental power, and bodily strength. When the air is transformed in course of time and natural scalds, fire is generated, taking shape with the sense of touch and sound. Since fire is also transformed, there is a manifestation of water, full of juice and taste. As previously, it also has form and touch and is also full of sound. And water being transformed from all variegatedness on earth appears odorous and as previously become qualitatively full of juice, touch, sound, and form respectively. So this all happening outside the individual universe. Over to Shantagopi. So she will further enhance.
Hare Krishna. So, here the detailed explanation of Sarga is given, the primary creation. As we already saw, there is a primary creation, and within the universe, what Brahma creates is called secondary creation. The primary creation will have the ingredients, and the secondary creation is where the ingredients are joined together, and you can see various items within this universe. We can compare it with some analogy. If you see, if you have production in the factories or the farm, you get rice, dal, sabji. If you take a farm, there will be many vegetables, there will be fruits, there will be spices. All these things comes from various production places, right? But within your kitchen, you will have boxes. In the box, you'll have little dal, little sabji, little whatever, different ingredient groceries you'll have vegetables, you'll have spices. Then you will combine this and then you will create some items. You'll use some recipe, you'll add some ingredients, then you will make some food. But if you look at the food which is cooked, there is many varieties. When a person is eating in a plate, what he will see rice, he will see chapati, he will see dal, he will see sabji varieties, and he'll see chas, he will see so many varieties he'll see. And he may not be able to identify. This is the question Narada Muni is asking. I see you as the cook. So a child may think the mother is the source of everything. The mother is who gives food. If you ask a child, he won't say God. He'll say mother. Because he sees the mother in the kitchen and she's in charge. And there is in one dabba there is rice, in another dabba there is dal, in another dabba there is gehu ka atta, and like this various things are around the kitchen, and she's manipulating it like expert here and there, and here and there, takes all those things and mixes, and some things she churns, some things she'll heat. In this way, she produces so many things, and the child may get bewildered. Same way, Narada Muni is the child of Brahma, and he's getting bewildered by the activity of Brahma, that he's so independent in mixing these ingredients, and then he's creating so many things. So, as a child will ask the mother how you're doing it, he asks, and then Brahma says that this rice, dal, and all are not produced by me, even though I'm the producer of the food. It looks like I'm the producer of the food. Even Hiranyakashipu, when he was meditating, he wanted to meditate on the greatest and topmost person so that he gets the best vardhan. So he wanted to get the best boon, but from the best person, topmost person. So if you see within a home, you will see that the mother is the maker. But if you see the neighbor's house, there will be another lady who is cooking in the kitchen. And if you see another house, all the houses will have small bandar of they may have a godown of things. And from there, the mother may take, and she may be using so many ingredients. But at last, they're all purchasing from the market. But where it comes from the market, from the keti. You go, then there will be farm. They'll say that, okay, this is rice, field, and this is wheat field, and this is like corns, and these are all the spices in the hill area. You go, they'll see various spices. All cinnamon and other things come from there, and then you'll have cow and it will have milk. And from the milk comes the curd and all those ingredients, all those. So the child may drink a buttermilk, but it may not know the source. So when he asked, then Brahma is gradually explaining from the beginning. From the very beginning, first there is Mahatattva, which is the unmanifest form of the material world. No material world existed, nothing existed in the material world. Of course, everything existed in spiritual world. So Krishna's all three energies, the internal energy, the marginal energy, and the external energy, all are eternal. They all three are permanently existing. Krishna will not have anything material at all. So that Mahatattva which existed, that Mahatattva is bombarded, and it broke itself into, not itself, by the glance of the Supreme Lord. Nothing will happen automatically. Without the will of the Lord, without the sanction, as we saw Icha Shakti, the desire of the Lord, and Kriya Shakti, he empowers the creation. And then Jnana Shakti, where he gives the intelligence in order for it to function automatically. So all those comes from the Supreme Lord. So in this way, the Mahatattva is broken. The sequence of sloka you should see in order to understand exactly. Mahatattva is broken, we already saw. And then here, the first ingredient which is coming, see, from the darkness of false ego, then the false ego and all comes. False ego is nothing but identifying oneself with the matter is called false ego. The first of the 5 elements, namely sky, is generated. So this one thing you understand, this 25th verse you understand. 25th verse you understand, then you will be able to understand the 26 to 29 also. It is exactly the similar. So a simple sample is given in 25. From darkness of false ego, the first of 5 elements. We all know 5 elements, right? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So people say ether. What is that ether? So now we start with the ether. The ether is nothing but the sky or the space. For example, if I am standing in a place, I occupy a space. If I am sitting in a chair, nobody else will be able to sit in the chair. Why? Because I am occupying the space. But when I get up from the chair is vacant. Somebody can occupy that space. So in this, the entire world is filled with the space, and within the space, something is created. So this is called sky. You look at the sky, then you will understand what does empty space mean. Because in the world where we are living, in the world where we are living, we are seeing many items existing. If a tree is existing, permanently we think, okay, there is a tree there. But where the tree is existing? Within the sky or the space. And if the tree is uprooted, then that space becomes vacant. So that vacant space is called space or sky. So you should understand, sky means not just what you see above you, but the entire space element. So even if there is a mosquito, if there is an amoeba, it has a dimension. And within the dimension, the earth is put, the water is put, all the elements are put, and it got a body. So every body occupies a space. So this is what is called sky, means the space is created. Now when the space is created, every element has one subtle form to match itself. So there's a gross form and there's a subtle form. So the gross form is nothing but what you can see, you can touch, all those things. So we have sense and sense object, we say. The connection is happening through the subtle connection. There's a subtle connection between the element. From every element has a speciality. I'll tell you how it is. Sky is there, and the subtle form is the sound. The best and easy way to understand how the sky is related to the sound is very simple. We have radio, right? And there is a radio station, or you have FM or something, or if the sound is existing somewhere else, and it is transmitted through a medium, and that medium is nothing but the sky, right? All of us know. We have antenna, and through the antenna it is transmitted. Or even more simpler, if two people are speaking to each other, one person is emanating the sound from the mouth, the other person is able to hear, so it is traveling through what? Space. The carrier waves are in the space, right? So the space can carry sound. The sky can carry sound. Simple. So you understood the relationship between the sky and the sound, right? So always you should remember the what is created first. People say that Om, Om. Why that sound? They are taking it so seriously because that is the first one which was created. Like that, Om sound is created. So first sound came, and then of course there is variegatedness because Rajaguna, Tamaguna, Satvaguna, everything will act on it, and various sounds like A, U, E, K, all those will come. But the primary first sound which emanated was like that, some sound came from the sky. So this is created by the Lord only. We saw in the purport, Lord only making it happen. Otherwise the Jada cannot act on its own. So the sky, the subtle quality. So you can see its subtle form is the quality of sound. So sky, its subtle quality is sound. This relationship you understand. And then we go to the other elements which emanated from sky. So from sky comes the next, and next comes the next, and next comes. So from sky, air comes. So we know earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? So the same in an upside down manner. We can, earth is the lowermost, the last one which was created. Earth, then water, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Or sky. So from sky comes air. So you know that sky, now if we see, there was a space which was vacuum. That is the first creation is vacuum. But a sky without, a space without air is called vacuum, right? All of us know. If I take out, I keep a bottle, or I take a tumbler or a tumbler and I put it in my mouth, and then I suck all the air out. Then you will see that the glass is just, or the tumbler is just stuck to your mouth. So you have sucked all the air. So what is remaining within that tumbler is nothing but space. Still there is some ingredient. It's never empty. There is a space within the glass tumbler. So that is space. And generally the space is immediately filled with what? Air. The air is also just, air is so, the characteristics of air is that wherever it finds a space, it will enter into that space. So, because the sky is transformed, from the darkness of false ego, the sky is generated, and its subtle form is the quality of sound, exactly as the seer in relationship with the seen. For example, you're the seer and you have an object to be seen, and there is a object to be seen, right? You have an eye and you have an object which you're seeing. Same way, the sky is there, and within the sky, there is sound is there. Same way, next from the sky, it is transformed. The air is generated with the quality of touch. In a vacuum, the quality of touch is not there, only sound is there. The next is transformed. The air comes from the sky. So where from the air comes sky. And from that air, the quality of touch. So you can feel when there is a nice breeze, you can feel it within your body, right? So the touch sense is generated with the air. The combination of the sense and the sense object. Touch sense comes with the air. So the air carries the air is the reason for touch. The subtle quality. Like how we saw in the sky, there is sound. Same way in the air, there is touch. And then from the air comes, we have to, in the world, what we are seeing is we are seeing form, we are seeing touch, all the senses we have. The senses are perceiving something. The tongue is perceiving the taste. The body is perceiving the touch. The ear is perceiving the sound. No, we have eyes, nose, so senses are there. So the senses perceive the sense objects which are made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Our senses are also made with that, and they can feel this. Okay, so these are connected with the senses also. And by previous, now we'll see that next sense is created. In the next verses, if you go further, how the senses are created. Bodily movements, then senses, everything will be created later. What is the difference? I'll tell you what is the difference between a regular matter and the sense. Okay. Now you understood the sky is related with the sound, and then from the sky comes water. Water is related with the touch, or the quality of touch is there in the air. Air has the quality, sky has the quality of sound. Simple to understand. Sky has the quality of sound. From sky comes water. Sky comes air. Air has the quality of touch. And next, from the air comes fire. Fire has the quality of form, whereas the air doesn't have a form. You cannot see the air. Air doesn't have a specific form, but from the air comes the fire, and the fire has form. Right? So here, previous succession, air is also full of sound. So air comprises of, so if you take the air comprises of both touch and sound. So it combines, it doubles. Okay, now air is first if you take element, if you see sky is an element, but everything else is compound. Because the air came from sky, it has the quality of both sky, because it is occupying a space. So it has sound also, and it also has air. So we say air is also a carrier. carrier wave, we are telling. Of course, in wire also you can carry, because the sound is existing in all the 5 elements, whereas the touch is existing in only 4 elements, and the form is existing in only 3 elements. Like that, it will come down. So the air is also full of sound, and the basic principle of duration of life. Sense, basic principle of duration of life, we will see later very detailedly. Like we have that when you say somebody is dead, how do you say somebody is dead? When the breathing stops, right? So what it does is, it has the ability to carry the basic principles of duration of life. That is empowered. The air is where, that is why we say prana vayu. Prana means life. So the life air is gone. They say life air is gone. So in this way, it also acts as it has the basic principles of duration of life. It has empowerment. Even though the soul is not related, but the soul is sustained, or the symptom of the soul. Symptom of the soul is consciousness, and that is known by the breathing. So it also carries the duration of life. Then sense perception, mental power, bodily strength. All these are there. We have pranavayu, apanavayu, udanavayu, samanavayu. And when the yogi wants to leave the body, he will carry all these air into the head, center of the head, and he will break the skull, and then the soul will leave. With using the air, he will push the spirit soul, and he'll go out. Like that, it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. How it is possible? Because of the air is empowered with special abilities. When the air is transformed in course of time, nature's course, fire is generated. And fire has something called shape. Specifically for fire, there is a shape or form. But because the fire is generated from air and the space, fire also has, already fire has a form or a shape. It also has sense of touch and sound also. All the 3 are there in the fire. You can touch the fire. Because inside the fire, there is air. So your touch is working. And inside that air, there is space. So you can hear some sound when the fire, like this, you can hear some sound from the fire also. So this is generated. See, we are seeing the core basic principle of creation. No scripture, if you take other Bible or Quran or whatever it is, they just speak that God created the world. Finish one sentence, over. The very elementary study. But we see this is Bhagavatam is a science, and it's advanced study, and we are seeing how the very, very beginning of material creation is done. Spiritual world is eternal, permanent. Material world is temporary. It manifests and unmanifest. And if it is manifesting, and whatever we are seeing is manifested world, which is already created and things are there. So how it is, we are seeing from the very, very beginning. So from the sound, then fire is also transformed and there is manifestation of water. And water, what is the quality? Juice and taste is there. Fire, there is no taste. Actually, in air, there is no taste. And in this thing also, there's no taste. Space also. But now taste gets first manifested by the fire, by the water. The juiciness, the taste comes from water. As previously, it also has the form of touch and is also full of sound. So, if you take water, the water has space, it occupies a space. Sorry, it occupies a space. Of course, it has sound. The water has sound. The water has whatever is the previous ingredient, all those things are there. Shape is there. It has a touch. All the therein the fire and the what do you say, fire and then the water. And as previously, it also has form and touch and also has full sound. And water being transformed from all variegatedness on earth. Now, if you take earth, the earth comes smell, the order, the smell comes from earth. Sometimes when it rains, you can feel that smell coming from the earth. And if you take the flower has beautiful smell. And that smell is coming from the earth. And some object becomes spoiled or rotten. You get bad smell. That also coming from the earth, transforming back into its originality. So smell is coming. So the odor or the smell comes from the earth only. So earth has the special, subtle quality of smell. So now if you see earth, the earth has smell also, it has juice also, it has taste also, it has touch also, it has sound also. All those things are there in the earth. And from the earth, when we see earth means mud. And the mud is so powerful, it is able to produce so many varieties of fruits and vegetables, so many things it's able to produce. And you can see very hard wood is also produced from that. Very juicy fruit is also produced from the earth. And very smelly, very beautiful flower, fragrant flower also produced from that. In this way, the earth has all the 5 qualities. And as previously became qualitatively full of juice, touch, sound, form, everything. Order, smell also. Everything is there in the earth. So these 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether are there. These 5 elements are there. From where, or even, see, that is we have 5 senses, and it can separately come in touch with each of these elements. So our senses are different from our other bodily parts, or general body, we say. Body can only have touch. Right? If I take a wood, the wood is also, or wood or some scissors. The scissors, if you take, it's a jada. So if I put a nice rasgulla on the scissor won't enjoy it. But the same rasgulla I take and put it in my mouth, my tongue is enjoying. But the same rasgulla I kept in my hand, I didn't feel the taste. Right? So our senses are special. So we will see that after this, the senses will be created from this ingredient, because the senses are little different from other material things in the world. So senses will be created because jada cannot experience. If I put a gulab jamun in my hand, I am having a gulab jamun, I can taste it. I won't get any taste. But the same gulab jamun I keep in my tongue, I feel the taste. So the tongue is different. But I can touch it, means I can feel the gulab jamun, I can touch it, I can find out the texture of gulab jamun, it is very, very soft. That is possible by my touch sense, but that is not, taste is not possible by my touch sense. My ear can hear sound. But if I put that ear sound into my mouth cannot, if I close my ear, But I'm putting a speaker, the earphone in my mouth. I cannot hear the sound, but I put it in the ear. I'm able to specifically hear the sound. So each of our senses are created with a combination. So do you think Bhagavatam is science? Find out now. We are starting the amazing science revealed by Sukadev Goswami now, how the creation happens, how all our bodily parts are created. Very, very wonderful science what we are going through. So we have to understand how Prabhupada calls science of self-realization, and we are having science. This Bhagavata Dharma is a science. Krishna consciousness is a science. It's not that, okay, I'll quote Einstein, I'll quote this professor, that sin theta and cos theta to make Krishna consciousness into science. Otherwise, Krishna consciousness, Vedic culture and other things are actually sentimental religious things. So I will somehow make it scientific by talking some materialistic so-called nonsense to compare this. No, actually, in originality, our Krishna consciousness science of how from very basic, not a big bang happened and then everything emanated. So this is not the bogus philosophy, bogus theory, science, duplicate science and cheating science. So Prabhupada said, a person who is just teaching without understanding or asking further questions is not a teacher, he's a cheater. That's in Mr. Bob was talking to Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur Dham, where we have the perfect questions and perfect answers, where we will say that, okay, Prabhupada is asking Bob, okay, what are you here for? I'm in India. I'm here for the teaching science teacher. I'm traveling India. I'm science teacher. So Prabhupada said that, so you know the science of God, science of creation, science of soul. No, all those things we don't know, but we have a syllabus and we are talking from the syllabus. In that way, I'm a teacher. No, you should know as it is. You should know things as they are. Prabhupada said, no, I don't know, but I'm just telling what is there in the book. Then he said, then you're not a teacher. Then you're a cheater. So now in the whole world, in the name of science, cheating is going on. And we know the real science. And people may say, okay, they are telling real science because if they know Krishna, they know everything. They know Hare Krishna Mahamatra. They are believing in God and it's a belief. Like Christianity, they believe in God and this is Hinduism. No, we are not Hindu. We are not Christian. We are not Muslim. We are not religious people. We are spiritual people. And spirituality is science. Shastra. The translation of the word Shastra in English is science. And the translation of Purana, Bhagavata Purana, Padma Purana. Purana means history. So we don't hear stories. We don't hear stories. We are not here for stories. We are here for history. It is history. It is not story. So Shastra is science. And if you take Purana is history and Shastra is science. So this is the translation which we need to take, and whatever we saw is the science of creation. So further we will see that how basically very, very basic till today, what we are, everything is explained. So this is the thing. Is that all right? Do you have any more questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, I have one more question, if you don't mind. Do we have the time?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mataji, so all these things, they are happening outside. So now Mahavishnu is exhaling universes.
He has not exhaled the universes.
Okay.
Because when he exhales the universe, immediately he will come as the Paramatma of the universe. If we have Paramatma in our body, same way Lord also is the Paramatma of the universe. So he'll expand into Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. That comes later. This is first Mahatattva is there. From Mahatattva, you didn't attend. You have to attend continuously. Prabhupada saying you should not read Bhagavatam hither and thither and you will have information here and there and blabber something. No. You have to hear sequentially. So if you cannot come to the class, kindly hear from the YouTube. So
Yes,
at least
Mataji.
minimum, if you cannot even do that, at least read and come. If you cannot read fully the purport, at least read the translation and come. At least that 4 or 5 translation you read and come so that next class you'll catch up. So it's a sequential creation. So sequentially it will be explained. Right now Brahma has not come. Brahma is telling to Narada. Now Narada is asking, you're the creator. Then Brahma is telling, no, I'm not the creator. I didn't exist. Now no universe exists. Nothing existed. And before existing, I'm the element. I told you right now, before the kitchen, you have the rice and dal. But the rice and dal pehle kheti mein kiya tha, hai na? And the child is asking in the home. And the mother is telling about the Keti. She is telling in the farm, there is a farmer, and the farmer did this, like this. Before me, there is Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord Mahavishnu is there, and the Mahavishnu is glancing at the Mahatattva, and he has the desire to create material universe. Then the Mahatattva is bursted, and from the Mahatattva, various ingredients starts emanating. From now, what the same Mahatattva is where we are living. The multiple universes are nothing but the Mahatattva only. But the Lord further breathes out, and then Lord enters into every universe, and then there will be lotus flower emanating, and then the Brahma will be born, and the Brahma will be bewildered. Then Brahma will do tapasya, and then Lord will speak to him, and then he'll instruct him how to create, take the ingredient, and how sa kaisa khana pakana hai. This will be taught by the Lord. So अभी from Brahma is starting from शुरू से कभी कोई universe नहीं था, कोई Krishna's external energy is Mahatattva is a single material element, single material chunk. Yeah. Is that fine?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. So, Mataji, basically all these material things are happening in the spiritual sky.
A corner of the spiritual, very, very small corner of the spiritual sky, there is something called Mahatattva.
Mm-hmm.
And that Mahatattva will sometime burst into material universes, sometime it will join and it will become. See, you read this, please read Bhagavatam, please. Previous verses you should read, Baba. Now
I'm reading, Mataji. I'm not understanding.
you are not coming to the class, I think. See here.
No, chapter 5 I've been coming. Before that, no, yeah.
Wait.
Chapter 5 I'm coming.
See here, material activities, Prabhupada in purport. What is this? See here, after the incarnation, the first Purusha, Karanarnava Sai Vishnu, the Mahatattva or the principle of material creation take place. The Lord who is the controller of all energies. So how many energies does Lord has?
Primarily 3, right?
Yes, primarily 3. Otherwise, within the 3 subcategories, unlimited. Okay. So Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Ye Shakti, Yo Shakti, so many in spiritual world, Shantini potency, Sambit potency, like this, even internal potency, many varieties. So the Lord's external energy is what we are seeing. The Lord, who is the controller of energies, thus creates. Who creates? O Brahmana Narada, the superseer, the transcendent Lord, is beyond the perception of material senses of the living entities. Because of the above mentioned 3 modes of nature. But he is the controller of everyone, including me. The Lord, who is the controller of energies, purport you read, then you will know more. The Lord, who is the controller of all energies, thus creates by his own potency, eternal time, what and all he is creating, the eternal time, the fate of the living entities, and their particular nature for which they were created, and he again merges them independently. So we will come out of the Lord and go back into the Lord. The spirit soul will come back. The time and the Lord will come back from time and the Jiva will come out of the Lord and go back into the Lord. Time and the Jiva and all. But material ingredients, earth, water, fire, air, ether, false ego, this, that, and all those things, the intelligence, all those things will come out from Mahatattva and go back into Mahatattva. So now he explains Karana Nava Sai Vishnu. Karana ocean. There's a Karana ocean, and in that Lord is lying. It's a corner in a darkness. There is absolutely no darkness in spiritual sky. Only one portion of the spiritual sky has a darkness, and that is Mahatattva. You understand what I say? You asked a question. So,
Yes,
this entire material creations are within the spiritual sky. This is your question. So, the answer is, in the corner of a spiritual sky, there is a darkness. A little darkness is created by the desire of the Lord. That is the external energy to reside. And that is the only place which is dark in the spiritual sky. Everything is self-illuminating. Self-illuminating. It doesn't require, in the world, we have sun to illuminate. But sun itself is self-illuminating. Moon is self-illuminating. In this way, self-illuminating is the spiritual sky, but a corner of the spiritual sky is dark. And that is Mahatattva. And there is the ocean. So Lord comes and lies down in that ocean, Karanarnava Sai Vishnu. That whole ocean is called Karana. So in material world only we have Karana and Karya. In spiritual world, there's no Karana. We say no costless mercy, costless mercy. So we have a causal ocean. So this causal ocean is there to create the material world, because material world, every cause has an effect. And every effect has a cause behind it. If I get cold today, that is because yesterday I ate ice cream. Or I went in rain. There's a cause behind my... But in spiritual world, without cause, why do you love Krishna? Because I love Krishna. Because in material world, we say because Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because Krishna has 6 opulence in full. Krishna is very beautiful. But in spiritual world, they love Krishna costlessly. Because it's the constitutional position of a jiva to love God, love Krishna. So they are just situated in the constitutional position. So we always say when we get transcendental mercy from spiritual authorities, we say costless mercy, because it is beyond the cause and effect. Why I get mercy? Why do I get mercy? Just like that, he got mercy. Hey, what is this? Who's that? You have a question or something? Who's that? Narottam. Moved. You understand? So in the casual ocean, Lord lies down. After that, so after the incarnation, first Purusha, Karna Mahat Tattva, or the principle of material creation takes place, and then time is manifested. In the course of time, the 3 qualities appear. Nature means 3 qualities appearance. Then the 3 quality, Rasattva Guna, Raja Guna, Tama Guna, all these appear. After this, they transform into activities. The material activities are caused by the Mahatattva being agitated at the first. Here, see. So, Mahatattva is being agitated. If you look at the purport, see how big is the purport? Prabhupada is giving what does Mahatattva agitation mean? Material creation of every description or more or less due to the development of mode of passion. The Mahatattva is the principle. See this, what is the definition of Mahatattva? Is the principle of material creation. When it is agitated by the will of the Supreme, at the first, the mode of passion and goodness is prominent. Afterwards, the mode of passion being generated in due course of time, material activity, different varieties, like this. Material nature is called the mother, and the initiator of the material life is the father, Lord Shiva. All this we saw. Okay. Don't worry, again and again it will come. Now Brahma will be speaking. Then Vidura will be Vidura will ask the question. Maitreya Rishi will be speaking again the creation. So Sarga Visarga is described in 2 or 3 times. In Kali Yuga, everybody has to hear 3 times for something to understand. So because we are within the creation, now we are talking outside the creation. When first was creation, how it happened, we are taken to Mahavishnu. As the children of Mahavishnu, we are having the vision. Because Brahma got that vision, he is transferring that vision to us. Is that all right? A corner of the universe has darkness. Darkness of the corner of a spiritual sky has a darkness. And in that darkness, there are 2 things. One is Mahatattva, another is Karana ocean. And in the Karana ocean, Lord expands himself as Mahavishnu. Karana our Sai Vishnu is lying down. Then he's glancing on the Mahatattva. He's injecting the spirit souls. He's injecting the time. And then the creation starts. Is that okay?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you very much. If there are no more questions or comments, we can wind up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thus, the initiator of the countdown, Rajeshwar Gaura Prabhu's follower, Shantagopi Devi Dasi, is terminating this Bhagavatam class by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
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 Rama
Rama.
Rama.
Thank you very much, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripasdevacha, Nanam Bhavane.
Patidanam Bhavati Vaishnavi Namo.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Prabhu is little
Hari
busy.
Bol,
So
Hari
I
Bol.
am terminating the session. Thank you very much. Hari Bol.
Thank you.
Pranam.